Listen, alcohol is just out in 2024. There is a rising trend of going alcohol-free or being sober curious, and alcohol, the truth is, it's just bad for you and can famously impair your sex life. So if you're looking for another way to unwind, relax, or just have fun, I cannot recommend Via's THC gummies enough. Via has gummies for every occasion. Whether it's to improve your sleep, I love their sleep gummies. I take them everywhere. Your mood or your focus. They even have an aphrodisiac gummy called High Love to boost my arousal levels. High Love has a unique blend of cannabinoids and aphrodisiac exotic herbs that are known for their libido enhancing effects. So I've been using Via for a while now, and I absolutely love them. They're a super trusted company. They use premium hemp, natural ingredients, and they're known for their premium indoor THCA flower. All their products are made here in the US. They got quick and discreet shipping to all 50 states, so you can all enjoy them, not to worry. And also super affordable. So head over to viahemp.com and use code Emily at checkout to save 15% off your order. That's VIIAHEMP.com. Use code Emily at checkout for 15% off your order and let me know what you think. Hey everyone, tonight's show is all about having sexual success. We're talking to sex surrogate therapists who are trained to help people overcome sexual roadblocks and improve their lives in and out of the bedrooms. Thanks for listening to Sex with Emily. Okay, everyone, I've got a great idea for you for the holidays. Okay, listen, you know those people on your list, those guys that are really hard to buy for? Because I've got a lot of them. And it's hard because you want to give them something useful and personalized. And in the holidays, I always feel like I'm just getting ripped off and everything's overpriced. You have to go to the mall. It's a hassle. I hate that. But I just got a package from Harry's Razors, and now I'm getting it for every guy on my list. It's done. It's not your typical gift, I know, but every guy would love this because who doesn't shave? And they're amazing razors. I mean, I'm not going to go to the drugstore and pick up a cheap razor and say, Happy Holidays, I got you this piece of plastic. You know, I'm not going to do that. But Harry's razors, super lightweight, they're smooth, and you know it's a premium blade. Their products are high quality and shipped in sophisticated packaging. It looks really nice. You can also gift the monthly shave plan. Plus, they have sets for only $15. It's already wrapped. Shipping is free. You'll get the razor. You can get 3 quality blades and a tube of their foaming shave gel or shave cream for $10. With my promo code Emily, you get $5 off your first purchase. Go to harrys.com now. That's harrys.com. Enter coupon code Emily for $5 off. You will love it. It's a great gift. Thanks for listening.
Look into his eyes. They're the eyes of a man obsessed by sex. Eyes that mock our sacred institutions. Bedroom eyes, they call them in a bygone day.
Hey, Emily, you got a boyfriend? Because my man E here, he just got his heart broken. He thinks you're kind of cute.
A girl's got to have her standards. Oh, my.
Do women know about shrinkage?
Isn't it common knowledge?
What do you mean, like laundry? It shrinks?
Can we not talk about sex so much?
Are you kidding me?
Oh my God, it feels so good.
Being bad feels pretty good. But you know, Emily's not the kind of girl you just play with.
You're listening to Sex with Emily. We're talking about sex, relationships, and everything in between. For more information, go to sexwithemily.com. You can check out all of our podcasts, and I've got a lot of them. You should also sign up for our mailing list because I give really good email. I don't want to brag about it, but I do. And just check us out. Support us. Love us. Like us on Facebook and Twitter, Instagram. It's all Sex with Emily. And I'm here with Anderson.
Hey.
Hi, Anderson.
Hi.
How are you? It's good to see you.
I love that, like, I'll be looking down at something else, right?
Uh-huh.
But even though I'm sitting right across from you, and I can tell when you're smiling just by the way you talk.
Really?
Yeah.
I should smile. Wait.
You should smile throughout the show. But no, then you'd be a freak. Don't do that.
Really? You can tell. You know, they say that you should smile and it makes you happier. Have you heard that?
Well, you can tell some of these, like, douchebags who do, like, radio spots, and they're like, hey, come on down this weekend. And you can tell they're smiling, but it's like a put-on because they don't really care that Honda's having a sale.
Right.
But you're smiling because you're actually enjoying yourself.
This is my favorite night of the week. My favorite thing ever to do in the world is to do my podcast, which I'm lucky that I get to do it for my living.
It's my third favorite day of the week.
What's your podcast?
Like Friday, which is my Saturday, and then Saturday, which is my Sunday. Those are pretty good. Those are pretty good.
This is fun, though, and it's almost Friday.
It's my third favorite.
I know. Okay, whatever. At least I'm on the list, dude. At least I'm on the friggin' list.
It's my favorite work day of the week. How about that, Em?
I love because it's your last day of the work week. Whatever. It's okay.
Because you're
I'll
in
take
front of
the
me
compliment.
smiling.
I know. I'm really happy. I don't know why. No, I am happy because I'm excited about our guests. We have Tamar and Raymond Reilly. They're sex surrogates. They know how to have sex, and they help people have better sex. So we're going to be talking to them in a little bit. And also, Anderson, I'm moving offices tomorrow, which is very exciting.
No.
And it's like,
Why?
I know.
Why?
Well, because I'm moving to a bigger space.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, a bigger space, and it's right across the street, but it's going to be just like we're just packing up all of our sex toys, and it's madness in our current office. You can't believe the sex toys and condoms we have amassed in that little office that we
All
had.
in boxes?
Yeah, it's crazy. Everyone's walking by, and oh my God,
Any
you
of
guys
the
really
boxes
do a lot.
vibrating?
Yes, they are vibrating. Actually, speaking of vibrating, okay, so listen to what happened to me. So I'm home the other day, and I'm working from home in the morning.
Which means you're beating off.
I did. I actually, when I work from home, I usually use the opportunity to try out a new vibrator, which is, typically it is my job. So it is working from home. The WeVibe Touch. It was awesome. It's purple, and it's a really great vibrator. But besides that, I put in a load of laundry, which I have a garage that has laundry and all my storage in it. I don't park in the garage. And so I put in my laundry, go back in my house, and like 2 hours later, I go back out to put the laundry in the dryer, and it's flooding. And there's water all over the garage, right? It's flooding. And there's literally, I'm pulling, like my photographs are in there, and then it's mostly sex toys, as you know.
Bunch of floating vibrators.
Yeah, there's like cock rings floating around, and like lubes are open. I mean, it's crazy, right? And there's boxes, because all the stuff is like in paper boxes, like my Liberator wedge, and like it's literally all floating. And I have wrappers from like bullets and condoms.
The water-based lube was fine.
So I had
right?
to call, the water-based lube was fine. So I had to call my landlord, the one who caught me with all the sex.
The Russian. The angry Russian man,
the
yes.
angry Russian.
Why you do so much sex in my apartment?
It's like I always try to keep it from him. So I had to text him. I'm like, listen, the garage is overflowing. Can you come? And he comes right over because he lives next door. And I'm picking up like streams. I've got wrappers of condoms. I'm picking up and just looking at me, giving this like box. I'm throwing away boxes of toys. And it was very, very embarrassing. But nothing got ruined except for just a few toys and some condoms. But it was floating, all of it. And
Did he suggest
took
that you
it out
were
of the boxes. He
fucking
thinks I'm a
the
prostitute.
Did he suggest you were fucking the washing machine?
Exactly.
Did he ask if that's what
He
happened?
did not ask me. It's broken. The washing machine is broken. Like I did something. But when
You sit and spin?
Yeah. Actually, do you know in my book that is one of the pages is having sex on the spin cycle on the washing machine?
Have you done that?
I haven't.
No, don't be writing about that.
But people have. No, I've actually not. But you know what? It's on my bucket list for this year. I'm going to have sex on top. But it's in the garage.
As soon as it's fixed.
I did have sex in my garage though when I first moved to LA.
With a person?
I just remembered that. I did. I had great sex actually.
Is there a door in this garage?
No, I have a couch in there.
Oh, the couch guy. Did you bang the couch guy?
No, I didn't bang the couch.
For those of you who might not remember, Emily bought a couch on Craigslist, and pretty much immediately after a couch was delivered, banged Couch Man.
I did not. I actually told that story on Loveland. I did not bang him the same day that I bought the couch. I would not bang someone the same day I bought their couch. I would bang them at least after 3 couches. No, I banged them soon after.
Buy 3, get 1 bang.
No, because people like, look, I wait 3 dates. Silly. I mean, I think that you should wait unless you're, I always think it's better to wait if you can. But anyway, so the thing is that I did have sex in my garage on a couch, and it was hot, to be honest, but not with the couch man, with the extra couch that came with my apartment. Okay, so that's it. Yeah.
Were you able to save most of your sex toys?
I was able to save them all. I had a few books that got ruined, which is fine, sex books, which, they're not even ruined, they're drying out, and I was able to save them and my photographs, and I just lost a few papers. It was all good. But if I'd waited like another half hour, I would have been in trouble. But I just want you to know that everything's fine.
I'm glad.
If
Yeah,
I seem to worry.
everyone's washing machine overflows from one time to another. Mine just did last week. It happens to the best of us.
But it was but it's all my storage is there too. But it's all fine. I'm all good. I'm really happy. So I swear. Okay, so I've got some sex in the news for you too.
It's my favorite part of the show.
Really?
I love the sex in the news. I love it.
You're gonna like this one. Good news for beard fans. There's a new dating website, Bristler, matches men with facial hair to those who love some facial fuzz.
Is this a gay site?
Well, that's what I said. No, I guess, well, here's the thing. This guy just started it randomly. I love these things when people just have random ideas and it becomes a whole business. But in the last few years, the beard has had a renaissance, no longer just the preserve of tramps and lumberjacks. It is now seen on lawyers, bar staff, artists across the Western world who want to add a little bit of edge to their look.
It's very hipster.
It is kind of hipster. I mean, I'm not against it or for it. I'm neutral. Whatever. If I like the guy, it's fine if he has a beard.
You go up to Portland, Oregon, it looks like there's fucking miners walking the streets.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Lumberjacks. Same with San Francisco, though. There's a lot of hipsters there. Dudes. But the problem is when they're stubbly and it hurts, which is why I had like an intern who a guy performed oral sex on her and she had to go to the emergency room because it was so, the beard had like scraped
I was
her.
so more excited. I thought you were going in a totally different direction.
No, I'm gonna
I had an
finish the story.
intern who performed oral sex on her. I thought you were going to say me. It would have been so much better.
I've never had sex with an intern of mine. Okay. So John Kershaw from Manchester, who launched Bristler, he started the project as a joke. He suggested the idea on Facebook, started seeing a positive response from his friends. He's 28-year-old, bearded. Software developer, he decided to make a fake landing site where people could sign up, but it didn't really exist. So 100 people signed up in the first 4 days, and he realized it could be a business. He launched the official site. There's now 10,000 people. And according to John, he says, I think the fact, instead of this being a serious business, like, hey, if you click this button, we're going to do this serious thing, it's more like, hey, I like your beard. So it has minimal information from users. So he actually doesn't know because he thought it was a joke, like who's gay and who's not. But there's women on there, too. So, yeah, it's international by chance, and it's working out. So if you're into beards, that's your thing. And I guess they're in. I don't know. I mean, I don't judge someone like beard, bald, whatever, if you're into someone. But there's a whole website for you now, Bristler.
Bristler is what it's called?
Yeah, BRIST. There's so many websites
LER.
for everything.
It's
SLR.
funny that you just advertised for a razor for men, and now we're doing the Sex in the News.
No, but you guys should shave your friggin' razors and go to harrys.com. Shave your beards.
Shave the beards.
Shave your beards on your razors. But just make sure I think you got to pick one, though, because the stubble is uncomfortable.
And then girls, if you're like dating a guy with a beard, you should probably let it grow out down there just for protection, right?
What? Oh, the women let their pubic
like a
hair?
protective little base.
Well, that's the problem is that everyone's shaving now, or they have been for the last whatever. How long have women been shaving?
About 10 years.
10 years, 10, 15 years, and that's why the pubic hair is there to protect you from things and
from beards,
from beards, from other objects, and you get more rashes now. But hey, it looks better, right? Is that your preference?
Way better.
Is that your preference?
Yeah, it's better. It's just nice not having hair in your mouth.
Yeah, no, that's true.
I don't like to floss.
You like choke. Has that ever happened to you in the past?
Yeah, remember that one Curb Your Enthusiasm episode where he got a hair in his Larry got a hair in his throat?
I totally remember that. Yeah, but that doesn't really happen anymore, does it? Okay, vajacials. Can you say that twice? Vajacial.
I'm gonna guess it's like a facial for your vajay.
Exactly. Speaking of vaginas, the famous J sisters, the Brazilian sisters who brought the Brazilian bikini wax to New York and claimed to be the favorite of celebs, including Cameron Diaz and Naomi Campbell, are about to launch a new service called Vagina Facial. The J sisters have been waxing women at their Midtown salon for more than 2 decades. They were mentioned in Sex and the City episode, and they're launching gomage therapy, which, according to those who know, is a facial type thing for the area down there. Deals with cosmetic issues, including ingrown hairs. So it's a form of exfoliation using facials, but not known for being employed usually on the intimate areas. I mean, really? Okay, color shaping and treatment for women turning gray. You know what? I guess once you turn gray, like you can't ever dye it back. But you can dye it.
But I thought that they Brazilian wax you and then they treat the skin.
Now, apparently they don't get into it. These people get into it. It just seems like you should get a Brazilian.
It sounds to me like they're just looking for more excuses to spend time down in the vagina region.
Exactly. Yeah. Maybe that's what it is. My first show was with a Brazilian bikini waxer. My very first podcast was with.
And I bet you didn't have it done on air.
But Menace did because he was my board operator. It's like 2006 on Free FM. Yeah, I had him get a wax on the air. Isn't that funny?
Did he man up? Was he cool, or did he scream
and cry?
Yeah, he was totally
cool. Okay. He was really cool about it. I thought it was funny because she told me she had her finger on every hot pussy in town when I was getting a Brazilian wax for her, and I thought that was funny. And I was like, why does everyone have to get waxed? I don't get it. She's like, honey, if you want to sell the house, you got to mow the lawn.
But she doesn't actually put her finger in there when she's doing her work, does she?
Not in it. No,
okay,
but they get it. No, when you get a Brazilian, they get in there.
I broke up with a girl.
I don't do it. Why?
Once I was taking her to get a Brazilian wax, and we wanted to stop off at a bar because she had to have a couple shots because she was worried. And she was telling the bartender, who was a dude, all about why she was drinking and that she was going to get a Brazilian wax. I'm like, this chick's not for me.
Yeah, how long
don't advertise Brazilian wax to everybody. That's our thing.
Back up. How long were you dating her?
Like a year and a half.
A year and a half. Wait, so that was
That was kind of the straw.
That was the straw that broke the camel's back. Really?
Yeah, there was a lot of straws.
So you're like, okay, see, that's something I would probably do, though.
I did not like it, though.
But
I didn't like it. She was all casual about it, and she had just met this bartender guy. It was almost flirty. It did not like.
Okay, got it. So it's okay. Well, but that's interesting, because I was thinking it couldn't be a new relationship if you were taking her to get the Brazilian.
Well, this is the girl I started dating her by taking her to buy a vibrator the very first date.
You never told me this.
Yeah. To Hustler, actually.
How'd that happen? Hustler Hollywood. How'd that happen?
She had just broken up with her boyfriend, and she was complaining. She was pretty much throwing herself at me, and she said she had not had sex in 2 months. I'm like, well, we'll take you to get a vibrator right now.
Because you made it seem like I'm not going to bang you. But
right.
Dude, that's such a good move. And then did you bang her?
For a year and a half.
Okay, that night?
Later that night, yeah. She didn't get to the vibrator.
She didn't?
She did not, no.
Dude, you're smooth.
I used to be very smooth, yes.
What happened?
Got
That's such
married.
a dude thing, like that, to think like, oh, well, I'm not going to sleep with you because I'm your friend and you're going through breakups. Let's buy you a vibrator.
I took her to
That's so
Jumbo's
sensitive.
Clown Room, which is a strip joint, and then I took her straight to get her. It was a
You're
very classy
so-
date.
You're friggin' classy, man. I'm glad that someone landed such a nice guy like you. Okay, let's welcome my guest here. I'm excited. Okay, so I have sex. You know what a sex surrogate is? Anderson?
I do, because my dad was a therapist for many years in Beverly Hills, and he was actually apparently one of the last therapists to continue using sex therapists in the psychological
Sex surrogates,
field.
really?
Yeah, sex surrogates, yes.
Okay.
I think he used them for himself, too. He was a sex addict.
He was?
That was probably too much information.
Your
but
dad?
Yes, this is true, yes.
He was or he is?
I mean, he's too old now to do anything, I hope.
Wow, interesting. I really would love to do a whole show on your
Sex
dad's
addict,
sex
yeah.
addiction, but thank you for that information. But
Sure.
we're going to move into my guest here. Hello, Tamar and Raymond Reilly.
Hey, how are you?
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Oh, my God.
What a big mic this is. Wow.
Do you say that to all the guys? Is that how it works? Yeah, nice to see you guys.
Great to be here.
Really?
Thank you for having us.
Oh, I'm so happy to have you guys because well, first of all, it was great. I met you at Catalyst Con for like a second. And people always ask me, like when obviously the sessions, when it came out with Helen Hunt, people were like, well, is that real? People don't really know about sex surrogates. And I really didn't until I went to my sex school to get my degree, my graduate degree. But in your own words, how would you explain what a sex surrogate is? People don't know.
Yeah, well,
And they're married. Oh, they are. This is what I have to say, is that they're married sex surrogates. And you're the only married surrogate partner therapist in the United States.
Well, certified.
Certified.
Yes.
There's uncertified.
yes.
Many people do surrogacy work, but we're actually certified through IPSA, the International Professional Surrogates Association.
Okay.
And there's about 50 of us in the country. Not a whole lot.
That's it? 50,
Yeah.
50 sex surrogates in the country.
There are other ones working, but not that are actually
Certified.
certified by IPSA. Yeah.
Wow, that's it. I mean, so okay, so I've got some definitions here, but I just thought you guys might want to explain what it is.
Yeah. Go ahead, Alex.
I'd like to say that we're healers. We try to get people to focus about touch and their bodies versus in their heads. So we teach them tricks to get out of their head and into their body, and it has a lot to do with breathing and practicing.
Relaxation.
And
You guys are I was going to say you guys are so zen, but I already heard that your dog's name
That's
is
our
Zen, and I
dog's
wasn't even
name,
going to
yeah.
I just forgot, and I'm like, okay, it makes sense. I'm already relaxed.
Well, that's a big part of what we do is creating, that container, that safe space for people to explore their sexuality. And, for many people, it's a very difficult place to enter into. They've had weird childhood experiences or even, things that happen to them through adult that just completely turn them off to sex.
Right.
And, it was like 50, 60 years ago that the AMA was teaching us, right, that masturbation was harmful to our health. So today in our world, even in the medical world, people acknowledge the fact that a sex-positive life is a important component to your overall, physical health.
All right, absolutely.
Psychological, physical, and
we've come a
spiritual
long way.
as well.
We're coming.
I mean, I can't believe. Yeah,
slowly.
it's true. I mean, so many people. It's upbringing, religion, whatever they're taught, and they're never untaught it. So that these problems, these issues, challenges with their sex life continues to perpetuate throughout their lifetime. So, but how are you different than sex therapists then? Sex surrogates.
Okay, well, the
Good
sex
question.
therapist does the talk therapy, right? But they can't do any hands-on work with their clients. So their experience falls short of actually reaching that satisfactory end result that the client's looking for. So that's where we come in. We do the body work
touch.
alongside a therapist.
Yeah.
So we always work in a triad scenario. There's always a client, a sex therapist, and the sex surrogate.
Okay.
And that's really important. You want to
Right.
tell
In
us
the room when you're doing the actual work, or you mean just they
No.
recommend you?
No.
Right, and they refer you.
Good
Well,
question.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're not in the room with us. There
Right.
is a great deal of intimacy that occurs between the surrogate and the client. And I think that the presence of a actual sex therapist would be intrusive on that.
Absolutely. No, that's what I was just trying to.
Yeah.
But they don't
they're
come
not
to you.
there
They
with
can't
pen
come
in
to you
hand
directly. Like they have to be referred by.
They have to already be in therapy. And they have to be referred, like we don't market ourselves to the general public out there. We market ourselves to the therapeutic community.
Okay. And then your website, just so everyone, it's thesexsurrogate.com.
Correct.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so you don't even, so you guys are too busy. There's only 50 registered license in the States.
I know, and most of them are up in the San Fran area.
Figures. I know I just moved from there, not just, but 2 years ago. I was there for a long time.
And the sessions, the story is a true story. And our colleague, Cheryl Cohn Green, that Helen Hunt played.
Really?
Yeah. And
oh, yeah, right down to the Boston accent.
Wow. I forgot that it was a
true story.
I mean, that story, it's so amazing because I actually pulled a quote here. Like, I think if people saw, which I think is so true about your work, let me find this. So it was... I was saying most people heard about sex surrogates in the movie The Sessions, starring Helen Hunt, and the shocker about this and William H. Macy. And the shocker about this was the New York Times review. The shocker about The Sessions is not the full frontal nudity or its provocative story of a sex surrogate who helps a 38-year-old in an iron lung lose his virginity. It's not even the priest's blessing allowing the out-of-wedlock sex acts. Rather, it's the humanistic way in which The Sessions deals with what sex at its best can be. Emotional, spiritual, physical, pleasurable, soul satisfying, and life affirming.
Nice.
Absolutely, I agree with that.
So
100%.
that's. In the movie, he's, he has a disability, but you see all different kinds of people. So, is there even a typical client? Would you say, or is that?
Well, there's the most common.
What's the most common
client for men? It's probably pre-orgasmic women. For a male surrogate, it's probably pre-orgasmic women. But for a female surrogate,
premature ejaculators.
That would be the most common. But then a very common one also is late blooming virgins.
Yeah, adult virginity.
Oh, right. Because when is it like? Once you get past
like 50, 60-year-old.
Really?
Yeah.
Virgin.
You have to realize the anxiety that a lot of males overcome when they're young children. They're worried about having their first sexual encounter, and all kinds of fantasies go on in their head before they actually get a chance to do that. Well, with late blooming virgins, that anxiety just continues to compound itself for years and then decades, and by the time they're in their 50s, they have developed almost a phobia to relationships. So it's not just the sex, it's the relationship that goes along with that, because they tend to avoid that scenario completely so they don't have to deal with the anxiety. And that's a lot of the work that we do. Like, people think, well, because you guys are surrogates, you must, like with Helen Hunt, she was in bed with the gentleman in the iron lung much faster than would normally occur.
Yeah.
We're there more to help them process the experience of a relationship. Sex is a part of it, but a very small part of it. Some of the work that Tamar does is going into their apartment and helping them prepare the physical environment for a sexual encounter. You find all kinds of abnormal behavior. You find people that are hoarders, and they're no way could they ever have a girl over in their apartment.
And that's probably part of it, right?
Part of the defense
exterior, the defense, right, that they put up.
We're all about trying to highlight the six senses, your environment, your smell, your taste, your sight.
So you help them. So give me, walk me through. So, for example, if you want to walk me through, a male patient comes to you, let's just say premature ejaculator. Mm-hmm. So a therapist refers you to this gentleman.
Yes.
And then, what happens in the first session?
Well, we build trust. So we're talking a lot about our background and our history. So we try to keep the talking to a minimum, but...
However, the history is really important to pick up on, their previous experiences and such. And that first session, just to mention, is always with a therapist.
Okay.
The first introduction always occurs in that triadic relationship.
Good point. Yeah, we meet in the therapist's office. But then if they do decide to go into SPT, we call it, then the first session would, some basic background. And then we go into some touch therapy, which would involve just a hand caress, a simple I do, you do. So I teach the client to not touch me to give me pleasure, but rather touch for your own pleasure. I know it sounds really selfish, but it eliminates the process of thinking, well, am I doing this right?
Right.
But if you're touching for your own exploration and your own discovery, you can't be doing it wrong.
Right, exactly. So you teach them that's what, to get to past the anxiety and to really, which is what sex is about, is experiencing your own pleasure, which so many people who probably wouldn't never see a sex, because I feel like the work you do would be so useful for so many people. I mean, people who probably would never think to go, but a lot of people just to learn these basic things about sex, that it is about your own pleasure, first learning your own body and starting with the basics, because some people just jump into sex. They have sex the same way over their entire lifetime, and they miss so much of it. I think they miss so much of the amazing sex they could be having.
Yeah, and that's important, not to rush past subtle feelings of, oh my gosh, I'm holding someone's hand, and it could actually bring tears to just hold someone's hand. It's so
you guys are so sweet.
Happy.
Did you guys meet in sex surrogate school?
No, we didn't.
No,
we met through a mutual friend who's a photographer.
We've been together 20 years.
Really? Were you both sex surrogates at the time?
No.
No. Okay, so how did you get into sex surrogacy then?
We both decided that it would be a great direction for our lives. I have a degree in psychology, and Tamar's been in the industry, so to speak, for many years, dealing with people with recovery issues and things along that line.
Got it.
So for her and for me also, it was just kind of a natural progression. It's like people say, did you wake up one morning and decide this is what I want to do with my career? Not exactly, but it kind of unfolds that way.
Okay.
And we're good at it. You
guys seem really good at it.
This is
I'm going to get naked in a minute.
Oh,
Just kidding. Oh, you guys, there's cameras in here, by the way. No. But just so everyone knows, we are the Thursday night shows, 8:30 to 9:30. You can watch the show. You can watch and listen on Thursdays, Pacific Standard Time, and then afterwards, you can watch it on our site.
Well, Emily, we want to encourage you to feel comfortable with getting naked in our presence.
I would feel so. I get it.
Perfectly
Can I touch
normal.
your hand?
Yes.
May I?
Oh my God, I want to feel the power of this. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that feels good. How does it feel? Oh, I should feel. You feel good.
And Emily, I should say the first step is all about breathing. Yeah, taking that moment to bring your focus to your breath and quiets the mind.
So hard.
Yeah.
I do it though. I meditate.
And to stay in the moment. I mean, the breathing kind of brings you into that present, mindset. But so many people, when they're having sex, aren't really present.
Right.
They're somewhere else. They're either in their past or their future or a
Thinking
fantasy.
About their ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, they're there with a beautiful
fantasy.
woman.
Asshole I was dating. No.
Even a fantasy.
Fantasies, exactly. After they're right.
Yeah.
And then they miss this tender touch of
the physicality of sex.
or looking into your eyes, because they're somewhere else in their mind.
Exactly. And especially the premature men who suffer from premature ejaculation.
Oh, yeah.
They're in their mind the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
And then you have to, because we talk about this on the show a lot. I mean, it's really the treatment is, people give them antidepressants, which doesn't work. And there's also certain things like this permescent, this premature ejaculation. But you teach them how to get, that must take, how do you do that? How many sessions?
If I may say, without making fun of the issue, but it's the quickest to cure the premature ejaculators. You're 100% curable. There is hope for you. You're just stuck in a rut. And it's teaching them tricks to get out of that rut. And it's really about this stop-start method where they have to masturbate when they know they have enough time, because somehow they got into this habit of masturbating quickly.
Well, right.
And that's what started it. And then, so this stop-start method is so effective where you have the scale of arousal, 0 being low and then 10 being high, and you try to go on this roller coaster of going up and then getting right around a 5 and then coming back down and breathing and stop. Like they don't know that,
Right.
oh, wait, I can stop?
Right.
Really?
This is what you teach them.
Yeah.
So do you are you touching them or they're touching themselves? Both.
It would be both, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you've sex with them. You've intercourse with them.
Certainly,
too, right?
certainly.
Okay.
If they want,
Right.
it's a.
So
okay.
so the stops. I mean, I always talk about the stop-start method, where you start and then you stop when you feel like you're about to ejaculate, and then you stop again, and that's great practice. But so many people, I tried that, and I'm thinking, well, you probably tried it twice. It's the kind of thing where it takes.
Yeah.
You're not. If this has been your issue your whole life, it's not going to go away if you do it twice.
It could take a couple of weeks. I mean,
If they're seeing you,
yes,
right? So how many
Yes.
sessions would it take?
Well, my
Typically, if there's a typical. But.
it could take on average, if you're seeing the client one session, 1 hour at a time, once a week, it could take 3 months. But
That's not so bad for a lifetime of I mean, really, like
yeah.
It's true. And
I love a therapy that takes. I was in it for like 15 years. I mean, if I could go to therapy for three months, that would be awesome.
well,
Because
a lot of clients report that this is life transformation. That they've been in talk therapy for years
Makes me cry.
and never able to achieve the results that they have with just 3 months worth of surrogacy.
I'm so sure that is true because I just feel like that people are. Sex is just so confusing because it's the most pleasurable thing that we can experience, and then they're on the planet, and there's so many issues that people have that they never break through.
And
you guys do amazing work.
And this communication thing, just calling out a number. Where are you at? I'm at a 4, 5, 5, 5. It's just not too much talking, but just one simple number.
And then do you stop? Is that what you do?
Yeah. And we all breathe. And we, go back down that roller coaster.
And some exercises help too. Like I've heard you talk about Kegel exercises.
Yep, Kegel exercises.
There's 3 different Kegel exercises that you can do. It's not just like one, like a lot of people think.
I have my iPhone app, Kegel Camp.
Well, there's one where you stop the urinary flow.
Right.
There's another one where you contract the genitals.
The
and
angle
the
of
third one is when you contract your anus, which is also part of your Kegel muscle.
Right.
So actually 3.
I call it the angle of the dangle. Like if you're standing in a mirror, and you could squeeze and get the dangle to be more erect. And
Right. Exactly. So you tell them to do the Kegels like every day, 5 minutes a day or something, or 10 minutes.
Well, a couple of times a day is best. If you can do it, don't make a big deal out of it. It doesn't have to be a 20-hour session or 20-minute session. Just if you're doing them, and for men particularly, when they're peeing, just every now and then when you're going, stop the flow for like 3 times during your pee. And that's an exercise.
It is an exercise.
Yeah,
Then they'll see that they'll be able to control and have strong.
Well, it helps.
It does help. It does help.
But
It's like any other muscle.
So much of it is in their mind.
I know.
We like to draw practices and modalities from all over the world and from different religions and approaches. Like we bring some yoga in and we bring some tantra expression into what the work we do. And the Hindus really teach this wonderful concept. Like in America, we believe that there's 5 senses, right? We always talk just 5 senses.
Right.
Well, there's really 6 of them, and the Hindus focus on that with their tantric expression. And the 6th sense is consciousness, their thought processes,
That's so true.
And
right?
that's one of the things that we focus on with sex. It's like all these other elements, you get beautiful candles to enhance the lighting, and you wear perfumes so you smell nice, and you turn on sexy music. But then you bring like the day's stress from work or from whatever, maybe the drive home in traffic, and you can't get out of that mode.
Right.
So that's one of the things we try to teach people with, in combination with the physicality of sex, is that your mind has to be in the right place. Like, set an environment that's comfortable.
Right. Before sex. I mean, stress is like the biggest killer of people's sex drive as well. They don't know how to make time for it when they have kids. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I'm with Raymond and Tamar Reilly, and we're going to talk more about how to de-stress and have better sex, right? Oh, I like that too. Okay. So anyway, speaking of sex, Thanks, everyone, for listening and supporting my sponsors. I have to tell you about my new obsession, something very close to me. I'm talking about the most comfortable underwear you'll ever put on. I have to tell you the story. So MeUndies.com sent me some underwear, and I was skeptical at first because I'm super picky about what I put on my body. And I swear to God, you guys can feel these. These are the most – I haven't worn them. These are the most comfortable underwear I've ever worn, I've ever put on my body. They feel amazing. And here's what I love. MeUndies is environmentally friendly, and the materials are made of sustainable and natural fibers. And like, I've bought nice underwear before, but it falls apart, it fades, shrinks. Not MeUndies. They have cool styles for men and women. They all look great. You can check out the photo yourself, MeUndies.com/Emily. And I'm telling you, this quality would typically retail for 2 times the price. It's super reasonable. They don't have a retail middleman, so it means they have savings for you. It's the most comfortable underwear. I know, it's amazing, right? Like, it's, you wash it, it doesn't fall
material?
apart.
It's incredible.
I know, it is incredible. It's in the Austrian Alps or something. It's like environmentally sound, curated from the Austrian Alps. I swear to God. If it's perfectly, they don't ride up on you. They pull the moisture off of you. It wicks the moisture. So go to MeUndies.com/Emily. I'm going to give you guys those because seriously, feel this T-shirt.
We want to take the ones home that you wore, though.
We'll talk about that after. Okay, you and my rest of my audience. If you want the one that took home, you can email me feedback at sexual. Okay, so go to MeUndies.com/Emily. Get 20% off your first order and free shipping, and they guarantee you're going to be happy with them, or your first pair is free. And I promise you'll be happy. Once you feel MeUndies on your body, you're never going back. But to get that 20% off, you have to go to MeUndies.com/Emily. Yeah.
I got 4 pair of those.
You did?
Not the panty type. I got
all
like
at one
actual.
time? You
Tell
wore
me.
all 4 at
And
once?
every time I'm going anywhere, they're always the first boxers I throw in.
Right?
Yeah, they're the vacation boxers for
I am
sure.
I'm
best.
obsessed.
The best.
You feel like you're wearing nothing. I love that you know them, Anderson.
But you get secure. You're secure. So it's not like you're like free balling.
No, exactly. The men's
Your boys
that's
aren't
what I've
free.
heard about it too.
They're tucked away.
I first heard about it on another radio show, and I was like, "Oh my God, it sounds
You can
awesome."
say you heard about it on the Film Vault. That'll make
I
you
heard
feel
on the
good.
Film Vault,
There
which
you
is
go.
Anderson's podcast, which you should all check
But
out.
yeah, they're great. They're fantastic.
Okay, awesome.
MeUndies.
Hey, I've heard of the Film Vault. Yeah.
That's his podcast.
Wow.
Yeah, he's
That's
super
cool.
famous.
Ooh,
It's so famous. You probably heard the top 5 sex scenes that we did.
Did you?
No, I
Just a
did not.
guess.
Oh, okay. Well, we could check out that podcast. But also another thing I got to tell you about. Do you guys use sex toys with your?
For sure.
Have you ever used Jeju? The Jeju Mimi. Okay, so
No,
it's
talk to us.
JEJOUE. Okay, I'll tell you. Okay, I love how we're talking here. It's a high quality premium sex toy, rechargeable, waterproof, powerful, and designed to hit her in all the right places or him.
Nice.
You can play with them together, and they're actually my favorite toys. Good Vibes in San Francisco sent them to me initially, and I've talked about the Mimi. It's great for clitoral stimulation, or the Fifi, which is dual stimulation, or the Mio, which is a penis ring. And it's like no other because it's rechargeable, waterproof, it lasts, it's one size fits all. And guys like the vibrations too. And she'll go crazy the next time you wear it during sex. 'Cause a little clitoral stimulation. I know, I wish I brought that for you too. Okay, their latest is their partner-controlled toys like the Dua, which is a dual stimulation toy you can control from remote control or with the Jeju app on your phone.
Oh, my God.
Wow,
So whether
I
you're
like
next
that
to her or in a
love it.
long-distance relationship, right? It's cool. These are next-level sensations. They're beautifully packaged, discreet. You can leave them out. No one would know it. They're mini orgasm machines. Use code Emily for 10% off your purchase at jeju.com. That's JEJOUE.com. Use coupon code Emily. So, okay, guys. So, as sex toys, I want to talk to you about that. But let's go back to the getting, because this is why I said everyone could benefit from this. I mean, I get hundreds of emails. This is what my show's about. I've been doing this for 10 years. I mean, you know, this is the killer. People cannot get out of their minds and heads, and out of their minds, and it is the reason for so many things that people are challenged with sexually, like pre-orgasmic women or premature ejaculators. So, I mean, like, I do meditation. I've been for years. You know, I've done different kinds. I'm like back into it. I try and do it twice a day.
Good.
Don't I seem very zen? No,
Totally.
I probably don't. Do I? Oh,
Yeah,
good.
you do.
No, but how? I mean, so you do teach some meditation. You were saying tantra. You teach a little bit of everything, and then, okay. So then, when does the sex happen? You sex second or third? Depends what it is. I'm sure. But,
Well, you know, everybody's got a different goal.
right.
So,
So let's talk about the pre-orgasmic woman, because we went through the premature ejaculator. So let's say I'm pre-orgasmic woman, and I
Okay,
come
well,
see you.
they can be very difficult. Some women approach the therapy with touch aversion, and just to, you know, hold hands with another human being is very uncomfortable with them. And it's hard to realize the scope of anxiety that's developed for some women over their childhood traumatic experiences. You know, I don't want to get into specifics with that, but we can all use our imagination to realize just how bad it can be for some people. And, you know, we're not dealing with the normal, you know, on the normal human scale. We're not talking about people in the center of what's most common and normal. We're talking about people that fall on the outskirts of the normal curve. So with a woman, sometimes just to achieve the level of laying naked next to one another is a huge, you know, accomplishment for them. So for me, one of the things that was, when we went through our training, the training, oh my God, is so intense.
I want to hear about that too. Okay.
Well, it lasts for weeks. And this is just the initial training, and it's like going to sexual boot camp.
Yeah.
16 hours a day.
Of sex? No.
Not just sex. No, of like practicing, of different, you know, exercises and experientials. So each one of us gets a partner. Like I was not.
Did you guys do it together?
No. We went through the training together, but we were not each other's partners.
Right.
I had a very beautiful Brazilian woman who had her own, you know, hang-ups and issues that she had to deal with.
And she was training to be a sex surrogate?
Yeah, you're going through, like, she was actually a psychotherapist.
Okay.
She had her PhD, and she's very accomplished, but she wanted to learn more about the surrogacy, so we went through this process together. One of the things that I found most interesting about it was this non-genital, non-demand genital caress. Okay, so I mean, my entire life I'm a male. I've always been kind of sexual, and you know, like if a woman held my cock in her hand, right away my thought process went to, okay, get hard, perform.
Yeah.
And under this exercise, the experiential is just that she touches you. Right?
And they tell you should not.
You don't like.
You're not allowed.
You're not supposed to get erect. That's not part of it.
Yeah. Could you do that though?
And it was like.
I can't imagine.
Took all the pressure off.
But I wish.
I mean, not that sex is a pressure,
time.
but you know, let's face it. We all have our baggage that we travel through with, and this was one of those moments for me where I was like, wow. We can just be human beings next to one another. We can just touch each other and let it lie there. So for a pre-orgasmic woman, many times we're just teaching them to experience, you know, their own orgasm through their own self-pleasure and masturbation.
Right, so you're just teaching them about... So have these women... I'm sure it varies, but a lot... You know, some of them probably have tried, right? To touch themselves and have orgasm, and it hasn't worked.
All different levels of experience.
Okay, so you start from that would make sense that you would start. Right. So you just teach them where to touch, or you.
Well, the one thing we want to make sure of is that, you know, when a woman says, "Well, I can't come," we want to know what she means by that. Like, you can't come from sex with a man, or you can't come during masturbation and you've never had an orgasm. So let's define that first.
Right, exactly.
And there's a lot of women that consider themselves absolutely normal that can't come during sexual intercourse. And you know what? That's all right.
Yeah.
It really
is. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, what do they say? Like 30% of women can?
Right. Thank you.
And it's not even every time.
Right.
And, you know, we have so much of this baggage built up in our heads, including the men. You know, like when we were talking about the pre-orgasmic male. I'm sorry, not pre-orgasmic, the premature ejaculator. These guys, you know, have such huge expectations of what it means to actually, you know, be a sexual performer. Like, they've been watching porn, which we edit the hell out of, right?
Right.
So, I mean, they watch porn and they can see a guy have sex for 20 minutes. And it's like, well, I must be a premature ejaculator because I can't do it for longer than 5.
Right.
Well, the average sexual experience is somewhere in the neighborhood of 2.5 minutes.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we're talking average, and yet we all have these expectations of, you know, what our performance should really be all about.
Yeah, and porn with men and their penis size, everything porn is
so
doing.
The same thing with women. They watch, you know, whatever, and they consider themselves abnormal because they can't have sex. Well, if 30% of women, right, aren't getting off during sexual intercourse, wouldn't that be the norm?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
But it's right. But no one thinks it's the norm. Everyone thinks exactly.
Right.
So do you teach those women as well? Are there women that come to you and say, I can't, and then you teach them that as well, like that they can, even if they...
Yep.
And then so let's talk about that one, because that's really common. So what do you, if they've never, so they maybe have sex with many partners and then they work with you. Mm-hmm. So can you
I'd
walk
like
me
to
through
tell you that I'm the Casanova
I
of
think
sex.
you are.
And, you know, that any woman who comes close to me is going to instantly be orgasmic. But that's not the case.
Right.
You know, really, it's they're the creators. They're the creators of their own orgasm and their own pleasure. And that's what we teach them. I love Betty Dodson. You know Betty, right? Betty teaches people, look, you got to be responsible for your own orgasms. All right?
I say that too.
It's not your partner's place to, you know, give you pleasure. They're there. They're there to help you achieve, you know, orgasm. But really, you've got to be the one who feels empowered to get yourself off.
Exactly.
And that's part of what we teach the women. You know,
It's so surprising. I mean, I talk about that all the time on my show, that, you know, people call it, my boyfriend can't give me this, he can't give me that. And then, no, it is your responsibility, and we're not socialized that way. And I didn't know that. I remember when I first started, I thought it was my boyfriend's. I was like, I didn't have an orgasm. He's really bad in bed. You know, I was like 20, whatever. And I was like, oh, but, you know, then you learn. But some people never learn that.
You hit the head of the nail. A lot of it is about self-education.
Yeah, people
really
don't, and there's no sex education really now. I mean, it's just, it's sad. So the women, I mean, I didn't know that either. I didn't know, masturbation never even occurred to me growing up. I never even, and I had like a pretty, you know, I had a messed up childhood, but my parents were pretty liberal and open, and, you know, I mean, just divorce and all that stuff. But it wasn't like sex was bad and sex was wrong. It just never even, I had a high stressful, like, maybe thinking, like, why didn't I ever, most people, a lot of women, it occurs to them to touch them, and I just never did, so I had to, like, learn it later, but so for these, so I never learned it, but then for these women, so you teach them masturbation, or you, like, then you have, I mean, I know there's a lot of, like,
self-pleasure is a big part of it.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you use toys, or do you not
Absolutely.
just have toys? Okay.
Yeah. But all depending upon the circumstances. Like, there is a set pattern of approach that was developed by Masters and Johnsons in the 70s.
It still works?
Well, no. Because sex is as varied as the colors in the rainbow, right?
Exactly.
And we have to be adaptive. So for every woman, our goals vary. They're not all the same, so it's not a set pattern of, okay, we go from X, Y to Z, and that's going to work for every woman.
Yeah, there's like 50 different exercises that we take.
And they have to do like homework and stuff, probably. I'm sure, right?
You know,
gotta go home masturbate. It's like my homework. I forget to do it, except for when I come home from work, and
like what I was talking about earlier when we discussed their environment in their home.
Yeah.
You know, like we also approach areas of nutrition and body awareness and
self-esteem
health.
issues. I would think that so many people have body image issues. So you just, I mean, so then how do you not get into the top? Because the therapist has already maybe worked on some. Because you guys really are there for the experience, the sexual experience. So you're not.
We're
getting
almost life coaches at some point.
Yeah.
You know, we're big into nutrition. We're big into organic, raw food, and those are things that can really help a lot of people overcome some of their issues. I mean, let's deal with
talk
the
about
basics.
some of the issues then. So it's diet, people who smoke or use drugs.
Obesity or drugs or alcohol or smoking or lack of exercise or, you know, their own depressive states that they try to deal with through medications.
Yeah, so what about people on meds? So antidepressants? I mean,
Very
that
often
can really
those
kill
are the
your sex
causes of their sexual dysfunction.
So then what do you do with that? Do you tell them to go off meds?
We can't do that.
Right.
We're not doctors.
But can you have them? Can they still have orgasms when they're on them? Have you helped them? Or is it just because that's...
You know, for some people, like that's part of one of the things that we learned during the history taking.
Right, but then what do you do with them? Because you can't... Because I know so many people who suffer from that, but can you help...
Yeah.
Look at yours.
You can live through example.
You guys are great.
Right? You can live through example. You can tell people what works for you.
Yeah.
But we can't really tell someone to come off their meds.
Right, but then how can they have an orgasm?
Well, some of them we can't.
Right.
We can't help. I mean, there are some people that aren't really willing to overcome their own boundaries to get there.
Right.
And I mean, we can be an aid, but we're really more of a Band-Aid. With sex, it's more of a lifestyle. You know,
Right.
a change in your entire life.
Everything. So that's the thing you got to do. It's like you got to do with health, spirituality, body image issues. Practice like habits that have been formed.
Diet.
So you tell people are organic and health raw. You said raw.
A lot of
foods.
times, also we can't take all clients.
Yeah, I'm sure.
They have to do some self-improvement work ahead of time. Simple meditation classes. Right. That's number one.
Meditation is good for everything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you guys wake up and meditate together? You look like you do. You guys are so cute. I mean, how does this affect your sex life 20 years ago when you started? When you started doing this sex surrogacy, how long ago? Did you say you've been together?
Well, we were certified about 5 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
But a lot of work was done in this area before we were actually certified.
Okay, so how has it changed your sex life? I'm sure you guys had to do a lot of heavy work doing this.
You know what? We're together 24/7. We're always together, and you think, wow, it's gotten more intense over the years, even being together that much.
Wow, because why? What is the
well,
secret?
When I was young, right, there was always that, we've got to do this high energy, like anxiety thing. It's like sex and performance and youth and, I'm buff and got to prove myself. But as you get older, like it slows down.
It should always be slower too. Sex just goes so fast.
One of the things that I personally concentrate on when I'm having sex is like extending that orgasm. Like people talk about Tantra and they think, oh, you guys have hour-long orgasms. No, not exactly.
So how do you explain that then? I know that. How would you explain your
Well, you can
orgasms?
extend your own personal orgasm, right? So most of the time it's bang, 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 and you're done, and, the orgasm might last maybe 10, 15 seconds, right? But you have to slow it down. And part of that's done with breathing, and part of that's done through muscular, control and some of the Kegel exercises that we do. But just really slow it down.
Prolonging the session.
Prolong the act of making love.
Instead of 5 minutes.
Right, exactly.
And ride that friggin' wave.
Yeah. No. But I say that all the time. People say, what's your top sex advice? I'm always like, slow down. I always tell guys, go 5 times slower than you think. But
But what they think by that is, okay, I have to do it for 5 times longer.
Right.
Like, okay, if I'm doing it for 10 minutes and you tell me 5 times longer, so I have to do it for 50 minutes now, and that's it. No, that's really not it.
Right, exactly.
At the end, when you feel that, orgasm building, like, revel in it. Like, that's
what
the
do you
moment.
teach that? How do you explain that? I know this is so
Well, it's kind of meditative. So practice breathing, because that's a big
Some
part
people
of
hold
it.
their breath during sex. I
No,
always say you
no,
gotta breathe.
don't hold your
You
breath.
have to hold your breath.
Breathe.
Don't hold your breath.
Like
People do
in
that,
and
though.
out. God, I had this amazing sexual experience with a friend of ours who's a Tantra instructor. And she and I were having sex, and we just got into this breathing thing where we were breathing in and out through each other's mouths, right? Like every breath that she exhaled, I inhaled. And back and forth and back and forth. And as we came, like we slowed the breathing down and consciously. I guess a lot of it has to do with mindfulness, right?
Yeah.
Like being aware of what you're doing and not just letting your body run rampant, but like in meditation, where you actually have to think about your pulse rate and think about your heart rate and slow down, breathe deeper and
It could even take a little bit of a moaning noise to control that breathing,
let's hear it, Alan.
Do it.
Come on.
You're the one who does it.
Do it.
It's more like a growl. It's
that's
a
hot.
growl. Yeah. It's like
Okay,
a bear.
So you were having sex. So explain this to me. You were having sex with one of your friends.
Right.
So it's an open relationship?
Yes.
It has to be, I guess. I mean, do you get to the jealousy if you guys transcended that, or
Totally transcended, yeah.
you really?
Yeah.
I think that's the key to our relationship is trust. I mean, 100% trust.
Well, look, a secret about us is we were both married twice before.
Okay.
And both of our marriages were open swinger relationships. So we kind of had a lot of practice before we met one another. I was married my first time. I was very young. I was 19 years old. And same with Tamar. so now with the two of us, like, there's really no jealousy. It's more a matter of empowerment. Like, first of all, we trust each other and we're honest with each other. So there's never that covert behavior, which probably would still evoke jealousy if we were involved in that. But that's not there for us. So one of the things that really is rewarding for me is knowing that my partner is having a satisfactory sex life with or without me.
Is that giving or what?
Yeah, that's really giving. I mean, most people just think that they could never imagine their partner with someone else.
That's selfish.
But then it is. I mean, I kind of, I get it. I feel the same. I think that are we really meant to be with one person? I mean, what do you guys think about monogamy?
No, I don't. I don't think. Well, wait a minute.
It's
There's
such a
two
hard
different
question.
definitions for monogamy.
Oh, yeah.
Emotionally monogamous, or
we are totally emotionally monogamous.
Oh, yeah.
But physically, like, that's kind of an unreasonable demand to place upon your partner, don't you think? Like, okay, I never want you to have any sexual feelings about anyone else.
Right. It's unrealistic.
Right.
And that's what people setting themselves up for failure before they walk down the aisle, and they don't say, hey, this could happen. What happened? You know, I have feelings for someone else, because you're still so... You think, oh, I could never have those feelings, but it's natural to have those feelings.
Yeah,
so
just share them with me.
Yeah.
I tell Tamar all the time, I said, any time in my life that I have the opportunity to have an orgasm, whether it's with another person or without, I'm going to take that and seize the day, right? So if I'm in some kind of a party scenario, right, and some woman's flirting with me, I don't want her to expect me not to have sex with that person.
So would you but do you have to clear it first? Like, what if he's like, I'm not coming home? Like, that's what I...
No, see, we don't do that either.
Right.
Like, we don't sacrifice our time together for somebody else. So it's not like I'm going out on a date or anything like that.
We play together.
Right, you play together. Like, okay,
Totally.
I got it. So, I have a question, though. When you guys are with clients, is there ever anyone that you don't want, that you're with, and you're like, I can't actually physically be with this person because, I mean, like, do you get turned on? Do you get aroused as well?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Me personally, I love everyone, big, tall.
I can tell you, big heart.
Yeah.
She really does. Big and fat. And she doesn't care.
I love everybody. But there is that one limit, is just smell, body odor. So
do you say take a shower, or would you just...
Yeah. And breath.
Right, breath is big,
yeah.
right? You got to like brush your teeth and be clean. So do you? Is that same? Like, you get yourself? You can just kind of, because it's work.
Well,
but yet
we're there in a therapeutic scenario.
So how do you get turned? How do you get an erection?
Off of my own physicality, really. You try to stay out of that thinking thing, and you try to stay out of the visual thing, which is okay.
He's really in touch with his body.
I'm sure.
Very much.
Were you always in touch with your body, though, or you had to?
No, it's a practice.
It is a practice. I think that it's something that everyone should practice.
When I was young, I was really into the model type. Okay, really into the model type. I mean, so into visuals, and I think that's how we're brought up, right?
Absolutely.
So, Playboy and Penthouse and all those things worked really well for me. I had a weird little fetish. I used to love scarves, right? Like, if a woman was wearing a scarf in one of those Playboy pictorials, that was it for me.
Right.
But over time, through different practices, I mean, we really don't use drugs and alcohol. Been sober for 30 years.
Congratulations.
Thanks. Really, in that time, practiced so many different spiritual approaches to recovery and just life in general. Yoga became a big part of life, and meditation, and that whole, tantric approach to having sex. So I can't tell you that great sex was inherited, right?
It's really not,
really
is it?
Learned...
I mean, I feel like there's always should be expansive. I think that everyone should be expanding their sex life and working on it, because it does get stale and stagnant. And so what would be your top advice just to a couple or to people everywhere about sex? What would you, men and women...
The Buddhists have a saying, right? In the beginner's mind, there are many opportunities. In the expert's mind, there is one, right? So, as you just said, always remain open to learning new experiences, new approaches.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things that disturbs me lately about the trends in sexuality is everybody wants to come out, right? And really what
Come out? What do you
come
mean?
out, like I'm going to come out, I'm gay,
Oh,
I'm
right.
lesbian, I'm transsexual, I'm heterosexual, I'm defined, I'm compartmentalized. And I don't believe that that's what sex is really meant to be. You should always explore your pleasures. And don't, fall victim to that labeling thing. I don't like women because I'm gay. And then it happened with us. Which is
What did?
Well, Alex, Tamar, when I first met her, she told me that she was a lesbian.
Oh, interesting.
And she couldn't be in a relationship with me because she was a lesbian.
Laughing, yeah.
Well, it's true.
I thought I was.
The weird thing about it was we had fallen in love way before we had sex. This was a very unusual situation for me, but we were friends and were flirting with one another for 2 years.
Oh, wow. No
before
sex.
we actually had a sexual encounter. And in our conversation, she was like, well, I'm a lesbian, and I couldn't. But today, she's my best friend.
Right.
She's my love, the love of my life,
You guys-
quite frankly.
right.
And think of how, much of a loss that would have been if she hadn't been open-minded enough to be able to overcome that compartmentalization.
Yeah.
I'm a lesbian. Boom.
Are you still with women sometimes?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. You guys have it all. Huh? Okay. We have to wrap up. You guys have been awesome.
we don't wanna
I
go
know.
home
I don't
yet.
want you to come. We have to come back. I wanted
You don't
guys
want me
on
to
the show.
come? Wait
I
a
do
minute.
want you to
That's one of the
come.
problems.
I have so many. Really, if you have to. Okay. I mean, I've worked, but if you had to say your top tip though, is there a sexual thing that you see across the board? I know we've covered a lot here, but or for couples, let's say.
Yeah, when you think you don't like something, try it again.
Try everything twice.
Yes, there you
So,
go.
Emily, do you know Ram Dass?
Yes, I do.
So I love Ram Dass's very simple phrase: "Be here now."
Yeah.
Right. So be present in your sex. Don't fantasize. Don't get into the kinky fetish. I mean, I don't care if you do, but really, you've
Start
got
with
to
being present.
Be present first.
Okay, I like it. Well, thank you so much, Tamar and Raymond Reilly. You can find it at thesexsurrogate.com, and at Twitter is at SX across America, and then Facebook.com/Raymond.Reilly.
Sure.
Reilly. That's what I have here. Okay, you guys, thanks so much for being on the show. Thank you, Anderson. Thanks,
you, Enza.
everyone, for listening. Thanks for listening to Sex with Emily. Oh, wait, one more thing. Sorry. You guys are speaking at the She Conference.
Yes, I was just going to say.
Oh my God! I totally okay.
Yay.
Sorry, stop this. So 17th and 18th January in LA.
We can't wait to see you all there.
I know you guys. You can come hear them speak. I'm giving away tickets. Feedback at sexwithemily.com.
Nice.
It's an amazing 2-day conference, and you can meet them in person because they're amazing. It's sex experts and speakers. I'm giving the keynote.
You
I
guys
don't
giving
know.
away free samples?
We're giving away free samples of sex at the conference. And so actually it's January 17th and 18th. Email me, and it's the She Conference. What is it? SheConference.com. It's on my website too.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you. That's
Emily,
all.
you rock.
Thanks. You guys
Thank
rock.
you.
Thank you so much.
Love you.
Thanks for listening to Sex with Emily. Was it good for you? Email me. Feedback at sexwithemily.com. Okay, everyone. Thanks so much for listening to the show. And I love being able to help you have the sex life you deserve. And let me tell you about Promescent. 1 in 3 men suffers from premature ejaculation. We were just talking about this on the show. It's a quickly absorbing delay spray that allows you to have the sex you want, and it allows you to last longer in bed. It closes the arousal gap between men and women. So check it out. Promescent helps you last twice as long, and it's the only FDA-approved treatment for premature ejaculation. Go to promescent.com. That's PROMESCENT.com. Thanks for listening.